The book is a playbook, how you can actually get the things that you want personally or professionally by relying on yourselves, by having skills. So think of the word or the term self-reliance as being resourceful. What do you need to do to be resourceful?
Good afternoon and welcome to Washington Post Live. I'm Jonathan Capehart, Associate Editor at the Washington Post. Global communication strategist Maha Abouelenein is no stranger to exercising the art of self-reliance. For more than 30 years, Maha has handled communications for global corporate giants, governments, startups, CEOs, and many more. Her new book, 7 Rules of Self-Reliance, How to Stay Low, Keep Moving, Invest in Yourself, and Own Your Future, details stories from her wide-ranging career, along with practical advice on how to deploy your greatest asset, yourself. Maha, welcome to Washington Post Live.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm a huge fan of your work, so I'm excited we're having this conversation today.
Well, thank you very much. All right. You know what? We actually have something in common. Minnesota.
Yes, Minnesota. I'm born and raised in Minnesota. I lived there my whole life.
In Mankato.
In Mankato. I went to school in Mankato, undergraduate school. I grew up and lived in Mankato up until I was 27 when I left to go to Egypt.
Right. And we're gonna get to your move to Egypt in the interview. I went to Carleton in Northfield.
Yes. Great school.
Yes. So now that we've gotten the hometown talk out of the way, before we get into the nitty-gritty of self-reliance, tell me what inspired you to explore the concept of self-reliance.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, it came a lot from thinking about my career. So I've been working for 30 years, 20 which of were an entrepreneur. And I looked at the through line of all the different things that I've been through in my career and my personal life as well. I had a mother with MS, a father with ALS. And when I looked at different points and when I was working, I was like, what was the through line? And it was self-reliance. I had to rely on myself to try to manage my career, manage my obstacles, manage myself. And I feel like it's such a superpower that if people understood the power of self-reliance, it's not about being independent. It's about coming to the table with your own assets, coming to the table with relationships and learning how to network, coming to the table with learning how to bring value to other people. What could you do to rely on yourself, to invest in yourself so that you can be an asset, not just for your employer, but your family, your community, and beyond?
Okay, so now that gets to something that you write about self-reliance. You come at it as an equation, and you touched on a lot of it in that answer there, but I want to read it for everyone. Self-confidence plus self-worth plus believing in yourself plus equipping yourself with tools to be your own power equals self-reliance. One of the things that when people hear that phrase, self-reliance, they think go it alone, that it's all about pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. You don't need anybody else, not worrying about anybody else. And you're shaking your head because that's not your definition of self-reliance.
Yes, a lot of times, we don't really listen to ourselves first. We don't trust ourselves first. And when we need to make decisions, often we're like waiting for permission from others or not taking that step because we're fearing judgment from others. And so the reason I say it's about self-confidence and self-worth, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to believe in yourself? And the concept of self-reliance needs a rebranding, if you will. It needs to be thinking, hey, what if I invest in myself? I shouldn't expect my employer to do everything for me. What steps can I take to bring to the table? What assets can I create for myself? How can I anticipate their needs and bring value to the organization? And it starts with relying on yourself first, and then you can be a powerful asset to other people and eventually indispensable to others.
All right. So again, as you just brought up, bringing value. One of the through lines through the book is, to be a value creator. So what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so one of the rules of the book is be a value creator. So one of the things I learned in my career, if I really wanted to work with someone, or if I really wanted to get a client or get ahead in business, I had to try to think about how I can add value to them first. And it's about making deposits in other people's trust banks. So anticipate some of their needs. think a little bit strategically about their business. Sometimes, and you'll read it in the stories in the book, I worked for free for very senior people or executives because I wanted to get the chance to learn from them, or I wanted to get the chance to maybe get something in the future, whether a year, a week, a month down the line. And so I said, when I meet somebody, the first question I ask Jonathan, how can I help? That unveils to me what are the things that they are their pain points, what are their dreams, what are things that they might be struggling with or need help with. And once I ask that simple question, how can I help, I can kind of pull that string and say, okay, here's where Maha, this is where I can bring value to them and do it with good intentions and show them what I'm capable of without them asking.
Well, let's talk about those times where you deposited into other people's trust banks. You became a speechwriter for the Prime Minister of Egypt before you got a contract. You volunteered to work for Deepak Chopra long before you discussed any business collaborations. You worked for, you call him Gary V, for nearly
Gary
a
V.
year. Yeah, for nearly a year,
More than a
for
year.
free, more than a year before signing a contract. And in a world that values speed and instant gratification, the other lesson you tease out for folks in all of those things, in addition to depositing trust in other people's trust banks, you did this as a long-term player. Talk more
Yeah.
about the importance of being a long-term player.
Yeah, so I think, Jonathan, we live in a world today where we want to tap to pay and get out of the room. We want to we value speed. We value getting instant gratification. We want that information at our fingertips. We want to be able to download that video in 3 seconds or the whole season, right? And so what I'm saying is think about the long term. The examples you gave where I was working for free for people, I think about it in two ways. And I want everyone listening to think about this. If it gives you an opportunity to learn, or an opportunity to learn. So I might work with a chairman of a company or a very high profile person if I'm going to get an opportunity to learn from them. That is invaluable for me. It's access, it's time, it's relationships, it's learning how they operate, it's learning how does business work. So I look at an opportunity to learn that I'm going to go all in, and I'm not going to sacrifice the resources of my team or my company, but I'll use my time and take that risk and reward because I want the opportunity to learn. In other times in our careers, we do need to be earning. I'm not saying give away the house for free or don't work for free. And you have to pay your bills, you have to keep your payroll going, but you have to figure out what's the opportunity for you. Is it an opportunity to learn, or is it an opportunity to earn? And every job or client or opportunity will give you that chance to ask that question.
Um, let's go pull back a little bit and go back to almost the beginning. Um, Throughout the seven rules, you weave in an abundance of lessons you learned from your father growing up.
Yes.
How did he shape you and your career?
Yeah, so my father was the dean of a business school. He was an educator. I grew up in a college campus, hanging out with my father and going to, work with him and understanding the importance of investing in yourself, the importance of learning things, the importance of knowledge. My dad came to the U.S. On an international scholarship as an international student. And one of the biggest changes that happened in my life was advice that he gave me. I was born and raised in Minnesota, moved to Egypt when I was 27. I didn't speak the language, didn't have a business network, didn't have any friends, and I was taking care of my sick mother who had MS. And I tried to find a job, and I wanted to work at the it jobs at the time were the P&Gs, the Coca-Colas, the Unilevers, to work in a consumer marketing job. Couldn't find one. I got offered to work as an assistant to a billionaire as an office manager. And I went home to my father that night and I said, listen, I don't think that's the role for me, and I don't want to be a secretary. And he said to me, you put your head down. You put in the hard work, you learn the business, you deliver what he cares about first. And after you do that, then you can go ask and create the job that you want. But you have to be willing to not put your ego in the way, be willing to put in the hard work. And that changed the trajectory of my life. I went the next day, I took that job. I ended up working for that gentleman for about 4 years, working on the largest IPO in the history of Egypt, the largest acquisition in the history of Egypt. And we ended up business partners, opening offices for Weber Shandwick in the Middle East.
I mean, that is incredible. And I'm always telling young people there's no such, especially in professional settings, there's no such thing
Yes.
as a menial job. There is always, you use it as an opportunity to jump in, learn, and show them what you got, and use that
If
as an
you get it,
opportunity.
yeah, if you get a chance to work close to the sun, somebody in a higher level position, you learn about business, operations, loyalty, how the company works. You can learn how to network. I use that role of sitting outside his office to learn the power of building relationships and networking and learning about the culture and how people do business there. It's such a valuable experience. If you get the chance to do that, you must do it.
So let's talk more about your time in Egypt, because as you said, you moved to Egypt with your parents when you were 27 years old. Um,
Yes.
and and I just want to read something that you wrote in your book. You know, you wrote, "I wanted to belong, but I was never quite sure where. Although my name was Egyptian and I look Egyptian, I didn't feel connected to that culture and couldn't speak the language. When I was in Cairo in the summer and on holidays visiting relatives, no one thought I was Egyptian." That was when you were growing up. Now, fast forward, you moved there to work and to carve out a life of your own. Um, Talk about that transition, because
Yes.
you're not only moving to a new country, you're moving to a new region where you didn't did you speak the language by the time you
I
got
didn't.
to
I had very broken Arabic. So a couple of
yeah,
things, Jonathan, on this. One, I moved to the Egypt to work. There's a different business environment. In the US, it's all about hustle culture, getting results, getting to down to business, getting to work. And then when I moved to Egypt, someone was kind enough to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Listen, that's not how we do business here. All business is personal. You need to ask about their families. You can't just go straight into business when you are, in an email. You can't just get down to business. You have to really learn the culture of how people work in the Middle East, and in Egypt and specifically, it's very different than the US." The other thing is, when after taking that job working for the chairman of that company, I ended up like loving doing business there, and it became my secret sauce. What US companies can I help them understand how to work in the region? The General Mills, the General Motors, the Coca-Colas, the McDonald's, the Visas. That became an asset for me, where I grew up standing out and struggled to fit in. When I moved to the region, I was like, listen, I can be a bridge to help US companies learn this market. I served 3 undersecretaries of state for public diplomacy. I worked for a lot of US companies. If Bill Gates was coming to town, I worked with them. If Salma Hayek or any celebrities were coming to the region. So I turned it into sort of my secret sauce of like helping be that bridge between the US and the Middle East. I went on to lead communications and public policy at Google. I launched Netflix in the Middle East and ended up working with the ruler of Dubai.
I mean, it's just spectacular. I want to read more words, more of your words back to you and to the audience. And this is back to you, giving first and receiving later. You write, "Every time I chose to give first and receive later, I knew who and what I was doing it for. That is how a long-term player thinks. And how does it tie to self-reliance? It's all about betting on yourself." Betting on yourself jumped out at me because those three words I use in my book that's going to come out next year. How I bet on myself, and by doing that, getting to this point. Tell people the importance of betting on yourself.
I feel like no one is going to put you at the top of your priority list, Jonathan, like you will. You know yourself. A lot of times we ask other people for outside validation or advice, but we know the answers ourselves. We just don't trust it or we don't listen to it. Everyone, think of a world where everyone was empowered and confident in their own decisions. Because at the end of the day, we know what's best for us. We know what our dreams are. We know what our ambitions are. And I just want to empower people to think about betting on themselves. That's what self-reliance is about. It's about coming to the table with assets or those cards in your hands. And those cards are relationships. Imagine if I need something and I have to tap in your network to do it. I want to learn how to build my own network. I want to learn to build my own relationships. That's what self-reliance is about. How do you nurture those relationships and serve those networks? The second thing is experience. You have to be able to deliver results. You're not going to be able to have anyone else rely on you or trust you or do business with you if you can't deliver results. So are you missing skills? Are you missing experience? Are you needing to learn something? And guess what? Learning in today's day and age has never been easier. Everything on the internet is for free. Podcasts are for free. Listening to YouTube videos are for free. Having coffee with someone and learning from them is for free. There's never been a better time to invest in yourself and to learn.
Um, how do you? I hear all of that, and we're both in the same choir. But what do you say to folks who listen to this and they're cautious? And they're cautious because they're wondering, how do you guard against being taken advantage of?
Yes. And that's the thing about it's a muscle. You need to practice it, right? So you don't give it away for free. And that's that risk and reward. It's like, is there a long-term benefit to me investing in this relationship? Is this someone that, I may not be wanting something from them and I give them something of value, but I know that if I make that deposit in the trust bank, maybe they're going to make an introduction to me or introduce me to their network. So yes, you do need to be cautious. And I do talk about this, but the more you practice it, the more you understand what's the right move for you and what's the right timing for you. So I tell a story in the book of Matt Higgins. Matt Higgins is a shark on Shark Tank, teaches at Harvard, RSC Ventures chairman, very affluent businessman, and he does business around the world. But I said, I know a lot about doing business in Egypt and Dubai and Saudi, and that might be a market you might be interested in. Can I help create value for you by showing you that corner of the world? And I invested time and energy and really helping him. And now he's a guest shark on Shark Tank UAE, and you guys can watch that dropping, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Talk more. Implicit in your last answer is patience. Can you talk
Patience,
about
100%.
the importance of patience, especially in the world that we're in? As you said, we can get things at the snap of a finger.
Yeah, I mean, we do have access to information, and that means that we might be a little bit lazy. Like we just want things to come to us instead of us working for them. And I feel like if you have a goal or something that you really want to focus on, a lot of people set that goals and they know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. How hard are you willing to work to fill that gap? How patient are you to see it through? The first rule of the book is called stay low, keep moving. And it's a military term where you basically crouch down on your stomach and you stay low so that you don't get hit by artillery. And I used it as a metaphor for life. Stay low does not mean stay low profile. It means put in your hard work, put your head down. There's so many distractions in the world today. People telling you can't do it, people doubting you, comparing through social media. So stay low. And that's the part about being patient. You need to stay low, put in the hard work and effort. Nobody is an overnight success, and nobody gets success by doing it alone. The second part is keep moving. You're going to have an economic downturn. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have, you're going to get fired from jobs. You're going to have bad days. People who are self-reliant understand the importance of staying low and keeping moving and being patient.
All right, so you know what? I am a total bum. I left my copy of your book downstairs in my office. So you just mentioned rule number 1
Yes.
of your book. What's rule number 2?
Rule number 2 is be a value creator.
Right,
Be a value creator, which we talked about. Rule number 3 is don't be a waiter. Don't be waiting for other people to bring you opportunities. A lot of times we expect that. Someone told me I was waiting, and that changed actually my thinking about what opportunities can I go get that I want, that I don't need to wait for someone to bring to me. I don't want to wait to be seen. I don't want to wait to be rewarded. I don't want to wait to be promoted. So rule number 3, don't be a waiter. Rule number 4, unlearn, relearn, and invest in yourself. What is no longer serving you? What are ideas that we need to kind of get out of our heads and relearn new things? And like I already said, investing in yourself has never been more easy to get access to, and something that I feel everybody can do. Like we spend time prioritizing exercise and eating healthy. What are we doing to enrich our minds, our brains? It helps us live longer, and it's actually fun to learn new things. And it can be anything. It can be pickleball, yoga, podcasting, related to your work. Try to pick up something where you can invest in yourself. Rule number 5 is the biggest chapter of the book and my
Yes.
favorite chapter. And it's called Treat Your Reputation Like a Currency. What is its worth? What is its value? And, I was just having a conversation yesterday with someone where they're like, we don't like personal branding. And I said, listen, take the word personal brand and replace it with the word reputation.
Yeah.
And don't you care about your reputation? So rule number 5 is, how do you build your personal brand? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want people to see you? And you need to be intentional about it. Jonathan, we live in a cancel culture, and it's just so important. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you work in the corporate space, building your personal brand is not a nice to have, it's a must have.
And I heard I watched your interview with CBS Mornings, where
Gail.
you said that, building a brand needs to just be, stop thinking of it as building a brand and think of it as reputation. And
Yes.
Gail King's head almost exploded, because
Exploded.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she said yesterday to me, she's like, don't build your personal brand, just go do your job. But here's the
Right.
thing, and I just did a video about this today. A lot of employers get nervous when their employees want to build their personal brands, and they shouldn't be. Building your personal brand is your reputation. Don't you want to have employees who are good at storytelling? Don't you want to have an employee who knows how to build a good network? Don't you want to have an employee with a good reputation? And your reputation at work is, are you a team player? Are you a collaborator? Are you a good listener? Are you resourceful? Having a good personal brand is how you can get the big projects, how you can get the promotion, and how you show up at work with your colleagues is just as important as how you show up in the real world and offline as well.
Yeah, I mean, personal brand has taken
Yes.
has such negative connotations. It's
Exactly.
it feels like Instagram influencer and folks constantly
Yeah.
with their phones taking selfies and things like that.
And I'm not that girl either, but Jonathan, I always say personal branding is not about self-promotion, it's about idea promotion. Personal branding is not about self-promotion, it's about thought leadership. So if you have an expertise, and I believe everybody has a unique talent, you should share it. And I'm not saying you should be an influencer and do it on LinkedIn and Instagram and social media. It's actually more important how you treat people in real life. How do you treat your barista? How do you treat your colleagues? How do you treat your neighbors and your community? That's your personal brand, i.e. reputation.
So you're the founder and CEO of Digital and Savvy, a strategic communications consulting firm.
Yes.
In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, from social media to AI, how has your approach to communications and PR shifted?
I mean, tremendously. I mean, the news industry's shifted, how people consume information has shifted. Everybody wants information in real time, but it also comes down to basics. What are you trying to share with your audience? What is your purpose? What is your message? Are you being authentic? And so telling stories today has changed. It's no longer you have to wait till tomorrow's evening news to tell a story. Everything is real time, or wait until, the newspaper comes out. You can really connect with audiences direct to consumer. AI is having a profound impact. We're using it to do research. We're doing it to get shortcuts on mining information and doing research. I feel like every industry is being disrupted right now by AI, but I think the companies and brands, and even from my standpoint in communications, the businesses that are taking time to be curious about it, to learn about it, are the ones that are going to be surviving a week, a month, a year from now.
Organizations across society, from corporations to universities, are navigating what issues to publicly speak out on without provoking backlash.
Yes.
What's your
Yes.
advice?
Yeah, I mean, this is we live in a time where there's so much happening geopolitically, and everyone has a knee-jerk reaction, I think, sometimes to overreact, and to, especially for companies, to kind of say where they stand on an issue. And here's the advice I give them: you can't put your employees or your workers in harm's way, right? You need to be thinking, is if me posting my personal opinion about a matter, am I being emotional? Is this something that the company's values are consistent and aligned with? You have to look at it through that lens. Oftentimes, people overreact. Influencers, celebrities, companies issue a statement very quickly. And then the story unfolds and the story changes. By the time they get the information out there and they know how it's actually turning out, it's a fluid situation, they regret putting out a statement too quickly. So the first step is don't overreact. The second thing is, if you're a company and you've made a mistake, you have to really think about how quickly you're going to respond. Because on the flip side, if you're a company and you're in a crisis and you made a mistake and you don't get out quickly and apologize or show empathy, that gap of that time can lead to misinformation, rumors, and then you're going to have a really hard time cleaning that up.
Um, um, some elves came and brought me a copy of the book that they had. Thank you very much, Paige. The number, yes, rule number 7 before we go.
Yes.
Live with no regrets. Talk about that, because
Yes.
I think that, it's the potential for regrets that leads people to not bet on themselves or take risks at all.
Yeah, but isn't that a terrible way to live? Like you guys have had dreams, you have ambitions, you want to do things. I always had a goal of writing a book for like 10 years. And I'm like, I have to do this. I didn't want to walk around with this baggage. Regrets are baggage. Let them go. Let those go and let that be part of your story of what's happening to you in your life is not negative. I feel like every struggle I've had, I've turned it into a strength. Every setback I've faced, I've tried to find a way to make that my comeback. And the reason I ended the chapter of the book on no regrets is I want people to think about how they can live a more fulfilled life. Do the things you wanted to do. Don't be afraid to post the video because you're worried if you look too fat or how you're going to sound. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Nobody's judging you as much as you are judging yourself. If you wanted to learn how to play piano, now is the time. If you wanted to start your own business and transition from corporate to leadership, now is the time. There is no such thing as failure. You're only going to get lessons from it. And so that's my message with no regrets. And I tell people, and this is the very last page of the book, the most important story is the story you tell yourself. And don't have any regrets doing it.
Wow, I feel like we're kindred spirits. This is so.
I love that.
It's so fantastic. Maha Abu, you know how
Abouelenein.
What? Say it again.
Abouelenein.
Abouelenein. I even have it right here, and then I tripped up over myself. Maha, thank you so much. The name of your book, 7 Rules of Self-Reliance, How to Stay Low, Keep Moving, Invest in Yourself, and Own Your Future. Thank you.
Available on Amazon today.
Thank you so much for coming to Capehart on Washington Post Live. Congratulations on a great book.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us. For more of these important conversations, sign up for a Washington Post subscription. Get a free trial by visiting washingtonpost.com/live. You see it right there on the screen. Washington Post Live, washingtonpost.com/live. Once again, I'm Jonathan Capehart, Associate Editor at the Washington Post. Thank you for watching Capehart on Washington Post Live.